Sorry about that. So I guess it is time to bring us number 4. Looking at the time here, sir. What is our number 4?
Okay, number 4. This one is going to go against everything we know. It's called skip breakfast for better health. And
no shit? Really?
Yeah, why the hell would you want to skip breakfast when everybody pounds into your head, get a big breakfast, it's the most important meal of the day, yada, 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 yada. It's all BS, okay? I follow a lot of biohackers and these guys who are always on the cutting edge. They're always years ahead of everybody else. So by the time you know what they're doing, they're already on other stuff. Okay, what I'm talking about is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting, I've been doing it for a month.
Intermittent fasting is the term?
Yeah, intermittent. It's called IF, intermittent fasting. This is what somebody like Hugh Jackman, when they need to get big and ripped to do Wolverine movie in about less than 6 months, they do intermittent fasting. For the Thor movie, all these guys for these superhero comic movies, I started researching it, and this is what they're doing because they're accomplishing in a short amount of time because there's millions of dollars online. And this is their job. They have to get in shape within 5 months to show up on set looking buff, big, and ripped. And so they bring in these guys that cost $100,000 plus to train them. And what they do is they do intermittent fasting. What this is, it's basically daily fasting. And there's certain methodologies of doing this. You can Google this, but I'll give you the simplest way of doing it. It's basically doing a 16-hour fast every single day. And then you eat all your calories for the day in an 8-hour window. And so what this looks like for somebody like myself, it's very simple. Most of you guys are already doing it anyway. What you do is you stop eating at about 8 o'clock, and you do not eat anything again until about noon or 1. And so you can actually move it. If you want to eat earlier, then you just stop eating earlier. If you want to eat later, then you stop eating later. And what happens is it primes up your growth hormone. It actually lowers your triglycerides. There's all kinds of stuff. It makes you what a lot of people. Let me back up. A lot of people like getting in shape will bulk up, and then they'll trim down. And this is kind of the old school way of doing it. They'll tell you it is not possible to get muscle and lose fat at the same time. It's BS because these guys have proven it. I mean, the science is the science is the science, but when you look at the guys doing it, it does work. And so it all has to do with priming your hormones and stuff like that. So what you do is you basically skip breakfast and you eat at like noon or 1, and then you stop eating 8 hours later. As long as you hit that 15, it's not a perfect science, 15, 16 hours. It helps you lose body fat. It helps you retain your lean muscle. It lowers triglycerides. It reduces inflammation, normalizes your insulin. And the growth hormone alone, just surging that into your body, takes care of all kinds of stuff. And that is how Hollywood gets into shape when the chips are down and they absolutely have to do it. But
so here's where the disconnect is for me. I'm just curious. How does a growth hormone, do you have any idea how growth hormone is triggered when you're starving? How does that happen? How does that happen?
In the morning, you can drink water and you can drink like black coffee. And black coffee actually is one of the few things that will help certain hormones. There's a lot of science, and we could do an entire show just on this. What I do is I'll get up in the morning, I'll drink water, and I'll drink what's called a Bulletproof Coffee. We'll go into that here in a second. And it helps me stay satiated. It helps me not be hungry. The first time you do it, you're going to freak out because you're going to be starving. All you can think about is bagels and food, stuff like that. But a few days on it, once you drink black coffee with no sugar, you have to use stevia because if you go over like a few grams of sugar, it literally breaks the fast. What you're doing is you're trying to manipulate hormone levels. So you can't have any carbs in the morning. But realistically, you can have certain fats. And what I do is I drink Bulletproof Coffee. And what that is, we've spoken about this before. It's organic coffee, a tablespoon of coconut oil, a tablespoon of grass-fed butter, a little bit of cinnamon, and a couple packs of stevia. And what this does, that's a lot of calories from the fat, but having that many fat calories does not break the fast, even though you think it would. So you can have this fat, and it's really good. It's like this big foamy latte, and when you drink that much fat, it makes you...
We hear about this coffee every week.
All right, well, I'm just
kidding. Go ahead. No, I'm teasing you. There he goes for it right now. I was kidding.
I want some.
I'm just kidding.
this is a trick that keeps it's healthy and it keeps you from getting hungry.
Actually, I'm gonna try it. I want to try it. No, actually, it sounds super yummy, good.
It is, and it's super healthy. So, but it will keep you from being hungry. So you
Yeah,
won't.
let
me tell you something.
Masks my hunger. I usually coffee wears off, and I'm like, oh, I've been starving for days. I didn't know it.
You know, I was kind of being a hypocrite. I was drinking Red Bulls and Rock Stars and stuff like that, the sugar-free kind, just because I liked them. And I was drinking 1 or 2 a day until I started doing this intermittent fasting and started the Bulletproof Coffee. I haven't had one since I stopped because the Bulletproof Coffee gives you energy, and you just don't. It may be that killing the candida as well, but I haven't had any Rock Stars. I haven't had any Red Bulls or anything like that since I started doing IF and Bulletproof Coffee in the morning. And so it's working.
Damon, so I got a question about that.
Sure.
You know, when you watch any of the videos about how to make it and stuff, they always have you add an extra oil of something, the magic concoction along with the coffee. And you just said about using just coconut oil. Is it same?
Well, here's what it is. The real stuff uses MCT oil, and you get that at health food stores. And all MCT oil is medium chain triglyceride, just basically concentrated coconut oil.
Okay.
But if you can't get the MCT oil, then just go to Sprouts and buy yourself house brand virgin coconut oil, and just throw a big tablespoon. It's literally the same thing. It's just MCTs are just more concentrated.
Okay. All right. Good. I just didn't realize that if it was the exact same thing or not.
Exact same thing.
Chris, you got her sold. She's like, when we ordering it, when we getting it, and I'm like, okay.
You know, and you can do it. You can put everything. Just make your coffee hot. Put all the junk into a blender bottle. You don't have to use a blender, and then pour the hot coffee in there. It'll start melting everything. Just shake it up, and it makes big foam on top. You know, and so that's what I do. It's real simple. But you'll get to where Christopher, if you start this stuff, after a couple of days, you'll start craving it in the morning, all the time.
I believe it. I actually, to be honest with you, I'm like 3 days without coffee so far. I've been drinking tea because coffee has this thing that just turns turns my entire digestive tract into a Nile flood. It's all disaster area at that point. I can't take it anymore. But my abs have never looked so good. But so I'm going to try your coffee thing. I'm going to try next time I do it. It sounds good. And this all came upon the notion that if you can fast how many hours in a row? 16?
16, yeah.
So including sleep in that, then that's actually better for you in the long run because it releases growth hormones, what you said.
Yeah.
So you grow. So you're going to grow more muscle if you do that, you're saying.
Yeah, it works. It works much better if you work out and eat clean. It works. You know, you can lose body fat by eating within a window, but it supercharges or jumpstarts if you eat decent food during that window. You know, as clean as you can, and work out 3 times a week, and it'll work way faster.
I think my hard part's going to be, nighttime, because for some reason I just want more food at night.
Yeah, I'm the same way. If you're starving at nighttime, right before you stop, get yourself a cup of cottage cheese and throw some like raw honey in it and eat that. Because what that is cottage cheese is a slow release protein, and it'll gel out. It'll actually gel out in your stomach and make you full, and it'll actually feed your body all night long. And it kind of goes against the fasting, but if you're starving when you go to bed, make that your last meal.
Okay, that's a good